Hey YouTube. I wanted to come on and talk to you guys. This is actually my very first YouTube appearance. I'm doing it from my phone, but you may notice there's nothing special about me. It's not about makeup. It's just that I'm a little tired. And don't mind the circles under my eyes. I got it from my dad, but I will admit that I am tired. I feel like I'm in a world where I'm trying to do everything right, and portions of the world are exempt from doing the right thing. I had a situation to happen, and I don't know if it's ever happened to any one of you. I just thought I'd share it because I'm extremely frustrated. I'm really, really frustrated. You know, being a single woman and being responsible for yourself is it could be a wonderful thing, but it could be sometimes overwhelming when you're forced to be responsible for everything, and especially when you just want things to go right, especially if you're doing right. So this video may be a little long, and because I don't have all the technical cameras and things of that nature, I don't know how to edit, so hopefully you're hanging there with me until the end. So this is what's going on. I recently had back in October, I drive for Uber and Lyft, and back in October I bought my car into Kia Corporation to have the dealer take a look at it. I told the gentleman, Brandon, that my engine light was on. He asked if he could, he said, well, let me take a look at it, let me connect it to the diagnostic, and I'll let you know what's going on. He comes back, tells me that it's showing that it's my catalytic converter, but that he's just supposed to reset it, and if it comes on in a couple of days, just bring it back, because I want to bring it back before the warranty runs out, because it's 80,000 miles. Before the warranty runs out, before they'll fix it. Listen, I don't know anything about cars. I've dealt with this company for a while. They've been servicing me for they've had all my cars, both my Kia cars. So, granted, at the beginning, it was tough dealing with them because they were not doing me right, and I complained. I complained to corporate. I wrote letters, I wrote notes, and I let them know the things that they were doing. And, eventually, they started coming full circle. And one of the managers told me, he asked me basically if I would, indicate that they're doing better, so I started putting some notes in the system that they were, doing better in terms of customer service, but that I did struggle with them at the beginning. Okay, so that was back in October when I bought the car in, and the engine light showed up that there was issues with my catalytic converter. So, I didn't think anything about it. Hindsight is 20/20. I'm a woman. I don't know anything about cars. And I kind of think this is kind of like a reflection of the Me Too Time's Up moment. I feel like even though, there is a disparity when it comes to dealing with women at the car dealerships and when it comes to servicing their cars. There's a clear disparity. I don't know anybody who hasn't said, maybe you need to take a man with you, or whatever the case may be. And some of these issues that I've had with Kia of Union City in Atlanta have been in relations to, you wouldn't have done this with a man. You wouldn't have allowed that to happen if it was a man, and I feel like you're taking advantage of me because I don't know. Well, eventually they started coming full circle, and they were doing better in terms of their customer service. So I bring you back to this point. I bring my car in October, well ahead of the 80,000 mile mark, and the engine light shows that it's my catalytic converter after Brandon, one of the service managers, hooks it up to the diagnostic and finds out it's my catalytic converter. Okay, so I bring you back to December 2017, because that was October 2017. My engine light comes on again, and it didn't even occur to me to put two and two together. I'm just, based on what Brandon says, we just reset it, and if it comes on a couple of days, bring it back, because that'll let us know something's wrong. Well, let me just say, stupid me, and I know we shouldn't call ourselves names, but that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I've been duped, I've been taken advantage of, because if I knew then what I know now, I would have said, well, isn't the signal light enough to let you know that something's wrong with the catalytic converter, fix my car. Something's wrong with the catalytic converter. That's the reason why the signal came on. But it didn't occur to me. I don't know. I've bought my car up there before, and they reset things and didn't do anything, or told me that the tire was flat, and that's the reason why your tire gauge came on. We just put air in it. Whatever the case may be. December comes. I bring it in, and it's actually time for my oil change. And I tell the service manager at the time, a female, at the Kia Corporation in Union City, the Kia dealership in Union City in Atlanta, that, it's time for my oil change. And I said, oh, my engine light is on. So she proceeds to ask me, well, have you ever brought your car in before with the engine light? I say, oh, yeah, I'm just, this is as a matter of factly conversation. I'm not thinking this is a big deal. I'm not even thinking about what's about to happen. So I said, oh, yeah, back in early October, I bought it in, and Brandon connected it to the diagnostic apparatus, and it said it was my catalytic converter. When I tell you, body language speaks volumes. She seems so uncomfortable. She proceeds to go through the system, and then she tells me, well, there are no notations in the system about, Brandon ever saying that. So I said, well, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? And I said, because I'm telling you, it happened, and he did do it. So she proceeds to tell me that he didn't put any notes in the system. I said, I don't know what your protocol is. I don't know, what he's supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. I'm telling you that there's no other way I would have known it was my catalytic converter if you just didn't ask me that question. I said, it did happen. It did take place. He did do it, and he did tell me. And so she proceeds to tell me that Brandon's at lunch and that, she'll come back. Well, that didn't do anything. Next thing I know, Chad, the other service manager that I deal with often, comes over to me in the room where all the people sit in the waiting room and shows me a bill of about $1,400 that I'm going to have to pay. And I said, this is not my fault. I said, this is not a Lisa fault. This is a Kia issue. This is not my issue. Well, he didn't notate the Kia. I said, but what does that have to do with me? I'm telling you this happened. So here's the thing. I've escalated it to the complaints department at Kia. And I'll be honest with you. When I get upset, it's not the most, I don't curse, but I am a little exact, especially when people tell me. I spoke with the Micah at the complaints department for Kia. He tells me, well, I just want to let you know, I'm not going to make any promises because all of these companies are independent, so I'm just going to connect with the corporate, the sales manager there, the district manager there, and I'm going to let them know, but I can't promise you anything because they're independent. So why would you tell me something like that? That doesn't make sense to me. Because if they're independent, then why do you handle all the complaints for Kia? Number one, I told him that doesn't make any sense to me, because I said, let's take Chick-fil-A, for instance. I said, those companies are independently owned. Some of those restaurants are independently owned as well. I said, but do you see them opening on Sundays? I said, no. I said, because they represent Chick-fil-A. I said, just as Kia, no matter how many dealers are out there, represent Kia. You are a representation of Kia Corporation. If you have the big KIA on your dealership, you represent Kia. So I anticipate something to take place. That was over a week ago. I called today to follow up to see what had gone on, what's the last resort, and this gentleman, Micah, at the complaints department for Kia, has not done anything. So I asked the gentleman who answered the phone, what's the protocol? What's the turnaround time? He said 1 to 2 business days. Well, what he said was whenever we get a chance to get to it. Whenever you get a chance to get to it? What is that? Who says that to a customer? Whenever I get a chance to get to it. How about whenever I get a chance to? That doesn't make sense. So he proceeds to, he wants to push me off the phone as quickly as possible because he realizes you're Micah's issue. And I'm not going to take over Micah's issue because I know you're upset. Transfers me back to Micah. And I said, why would you transfer me back to somebody who's not done anything for me? I said, go ahead and transfer me back. He transfers me back to Micah at the complaints department for Kia. I leave a voicemail. Still haven't heard from anything. And that's today. So today I am going to talk to the sales manager or the office manager there at Kia Corporation today, and I'm hoping for some results. So I say all this to say that if you deal with this, please comment below, subscribe if you want to. This will be just the beginning of the things that I have to say, because I'll be talking about life and just things in general, but this is one of the things that I just felt like I had to say something about it. And unfortunately, this video is 10 minutes long already. I don't even know if I'll have an ear, if you'll be willing to listen or subscribe or even comment below. But there is a huge disparity between how dealerships and service professionals at these dealerships treat women versus men. I said, and it's just not fair. It's not fair. So time's up.